Hello everybody, welcome to the second season of the SENA TV Web English shows, where you'll have the opportunity to learn and practice your English, but this time it will be a specialized English in different subjects such as gastronomy, TV production, finances, business English, tourism, mechanics, art, theater, health, fashion, and much more. So you'll not just be learning English, but you'll also be learning about very interesting topics and situations you may encounter in your daily life, whenever you travel to an English-speaking country, or whether you need to work with foreigners coming from all over the world that without doubt will communicate with you through the universal language, English.
Hoy, capítulo 1. Bilingüismo, inglés.
One of the greatest pleasures in life is definitely enjoying a delicious meal. Today we're going to see different aspects of the study of food and culture, gastronomy. But gastronomy is more than a science. It is a multidisciplinary art that examines, studies, and offers food itself along with its historical and cultural context, presentation, freshness, ingredients, and exceptional recipes. Hi everybody, and welcome to our English tip for today. This lesson is part of the National Learning Service SENA bilingual programs, and it is made just for you. Today you'll learn about the verbs that you should know if you work in gastronomy. All of these expressions will help you find your way around the kitchen. For example, to beat significa batir. To blend significa combinar o mezclar algo. To slice es rebanar. To broil es asar a la parrilla. To chop significa cortar en trozos. To defrost significa descongelar. To dice es cortar en cubitos. To fry es freír. To glaze es glaciar. To grind significa moler. To melt significa derretir. To peel es pelar algo. To simmer significa hervir a fuego lento. To stew significa guisar o estofar. Stay tuned to TV Web SENA so you can learn more English. Bye everyone. Thank you so much, Philip. Do you think you can defrost me a chicken so we can have a delicious meal tonight? Pastry chef Miriam Cami has made her name famous due to her awesome and delicious desserts. Her book, called The Book of Miriam Cami, won a prize from the Gourmand World Cookbook Award, which is the most important award for gastronomy books worldwide. Our first guest for today is the daughter of this legend of the Colombian bakery business. Denise Cami has been working alongside her mom, the award-winning Miriam Cami, building an empire founded on delicious desserts that will make you want to indulge your sweet tooth every day. Today, she's going to teach us how to make a fantastic dessert made out of merengue.
The story of Miriam Cami began 30 years ago in our kitchen in a house in the calle 106. My mother started making desserts for her friends, and she would do the chocolate meringue. That was the first one. Then we began doing a little more variety of desserts, but we were doing them in our kitchen for at least 15 years. And then afterwards we moved to a small place, and then another one, and now here in the calle 81.
If someone wants to be a good baker, first of all she has to like it and be all the time experiencing new recipes and trying flavors. No, always be on top of it. Enjoy it.
Today we're going to make little desserts made out of meringue, guanábana, and cream. So for maybe around 15 little desserts, we will need 3 egg whites, 1 cup of sugar, and some drops of lemon juice. We have to separate the eggs because we're just using the egg whites. It's very important that the egg whites come out clean without any piece of egg yolk inside, because if some yolk gets in, they won't reach their point. Beat the egg whites at full speed until they become frothy and a little whiter. Put in some drops of lemon juice, and then very slowly add the white sugar. beating continuously until you get a glossy mixture, white and glossy and stiff. Then with that mixture, you're gonna make the meringues. Now we're gonna pour the mixture inside a plastic bag or a decorator's bag, so we can make the rounds in an even shape and size. Prepare the baking sheet with aluminum foil and then make the rounds of meringue a little bit apart one of another so they don't stick together in the oven. The oven has to be preheated at very low temperature. The meringues are now cooling off. This time we're gonna fill our meringues with guanábana. Another part of the filling is the fresh whipped cream. This is how stiff the cream should be. In order to melt the chocolate, you have to break it in pieces first, so the process gets easier. Put the pieces in a pan, dry and clean, and put it over a water bath. The water bath is a bigger pan with a little bit of water, medium heat, so the chocolate doesn't burn. We are filling the meringues with some whipped cream. Then we're going to put in some guanábana, which is a Colombian fruit. And then we repeat the process 3 times, so we make some meringue towers. Top it with the meringue again and decorate with some melted chocolate.
We'll be right back after the break with a professional chef from whom you'll learn not just how to cook one of the most popular Colombian dishes, but how to speak an excellent English, especially with everything related with gastronomy. Stay tuned.
Do you know what to bake something means?
Ya regresamos con TV Web Educativa. Seguimos con TV Web Educativa.
Estás viendo Bilingüismo Inglés. Capítulo 1.
Do you know what to bake something means? Bake. To bake means to cook in an oven or an oven-type appliance. Covered or uncovered containers may be used. Bake significa hornear. For example, she loves baking cookies for her kids. Martha is baking a birthday cake for her husband.
One of the most popular Colombian dishes is called sancocho. The word sancocho comes from the Spanish verb sancochar, which means to parboil, that is a partial boiling of food in the cooking process. This famous sancocho is a traditional soup, often considered a stew. It usually consists of large pieces of meat and vegetables served in a broth, which means caldo in Spanish. Today, I'm going to introduce you to a special chef. His name is Ivan Francisco Escobar. He studied gastronomy, he lived 10 years in the United States, has worked in hotels, restaurants, and today he has his own business, obviously related to what he loves the most, cooking. Take notes so you can be a good host and impress your friends with this delicious short rib sancocho.
The short rib sancocho comes from the Caribbean coast of the country, and most of the ingredients used in this particular dish come from that region, and that gives the sancocho a very distinctive taste and a strong personality. Now, the first step when it comes to cooking the sancocho will be taking care of the things that take the longest times. Items such as the short rib and the green plantains. We want the bone. The bone is what's going to give them that nice flavor, and it's going to make sure that that quiche just tastes great. Next step will be our green plantains. We're going to use about a tablespoon of salt. Fill this up until we can see the water. Make sure to close our lid, nice and firm. And now we can get ready to move on to our sancocho. I'm going to start with the sweet plantains. Okay, they're so sweet that if cooked together with the sancocho, we're definitely going to end up with a very sweet soup, and we don't want that. So we're just going to add these sweet plantains right here. Okay, no need of adding anything to cook that, just a little bit more water, and that will be all. Close the lid. I'm going to start just by showing you this yuca root, so beautiful. And what we're going to do is peel it, and we're ready to start building up our sancocho. Our ñame root is one of the other things I really like about the sancocho. It gives the soup a very distinctive taste. So we have our corn nice and rinsed and clean. And just like we did with everything else, we're gonna go with inch thick medallions. We are going to use a little celery, but we're going to take it out. We're only going to use this as flavor aid. Same with our green onions. Just like that. And throw it in our sandwich. Finally, I'm going to use a little pumpkin. This is just coming up just great. So once we rinse our potatoes out and we make sure that they're nice and clean, these guys I'm just going to throw in there just like that, okay? There's no need of peeling these guys. We don't want to overfill this neither. We want to go right about the handles, okay? It's the exact amount of water. We're going to use a very special type of pepper, a scented pepper, but this does gives a great flavor to our sancocho. We're going to use about 2 tablespoons of salt. Now we're going to add a couple of chicken broth cubes. They have immense amount of flavors, and they just give that beautiful flavor of that chicken in our soup. If you don't stir it constantly, you're going to burn ingredients in the bottom of your pot. I just want you to see that the water is barely touching everything. When it comes to seasoning, I like to put a little paprika. We're going to add some little bit of a complete seasoning as well. This comes with a little garlic powder and some salt. So let's go ahead and give this a taste. I'm going to use my measuring spoon. Fantastic. I'm going to use a whole garlic cloves. So that's that. Let's go ahead and cover our sancocho, full heat. We want this to be as high as possible. And I think that we are ready to go ahead and add our sweet plantains. And I'm gonna get that water from them. I'm just gonna strain the sweet plantains. And now, finally, we're just gonna go ahead and add our short ribs. This sancocho is pretty much done, guys. This is just amazing. And now let's go ahead and plate this. When it comes to plating, you wanna have the soup by itself, okay? And we wanna have all the other vegetables, or as we call it, the vitualla, set right here to the left with some rice and some avocado. Amazing. There you have it. A short rib sancocho.
We'll be right back after this short break with more entertainment, more gastronomy, and guess what? You'll have the chance to see some cocktails preparation. This is SENA TV Web. Don't move.
Do you know what to boil something means?
Ya regresamos con TV Web Educativa. Seguimos con TV Web Educativa.
Estás viendo Bilingüismo Inglés. Capítulo 1.
Do you know what to boil something means? Boil. To boil means to heat a liquid until it reaches a temperature at which the vapor pressure is large enough that bubbles form in the inside of the body liquid. Boil significa hervir. For example, I am going to boil some water for my tea. I am going to boil some eggs for breakfast.
Our following guest has a special fund for Mediterranean cuisine. His restaurant, Teatreria, serves the tastiest dishes the Italian gastronomy has to offer. Today, Andres Herrera is going to tell us about his fascination with this type of cooking, and he will also teach us how to make an ossobuco. Let's see how you can cook at home this particular Italian dish.
I decided to open up an Italian restaurant mainly because of the respect I have for the Italian food. And it's just not Italian, it's Italian Mediterranean. Well, in the Mediterranean, you'll find a lot of garlics, you'll find a lot of the olive oil, you'll find, due to that its proximity is with the ocean, you'll see a lot of the seafood. I think Mediterranean cuisine is popular mainly because of its very healthy food. It's very limited fats. It's just plain healthy. Today we're going to prepare a typical Italian dish. It's going to be an ossobuco. We'll be using our carrots, our onions, celery, garlic, thyme, and rosemary. So we'll also use a beef stock, red wine, and tomato sauce. The ossobuco is the shank of a veal. We use 380 grams of it. What we will first do is cover it with flour. We're gonna brown the veal shank first. This will take about 10 to 15 minutes. The browning will be a lot of the flavor in our sauce. Once we have browned our ossobuco, we take it out of our cooking pan and set it aside while we saute our vegetables, which have already been finely diced in a brunoise cut, which is a 2 centimeter by 2 centimeter cut. We will return our ossobucos to our pot, and what we will do, we'll take our red wine to lift all the juices that we have left inside our ossobuco, inside our pan. We're gonna have very high heat, evaporating all the alcohol in it. Okay, once we've reduced our wine to about a third of what we had originally, we now add our beef stock. And we give that, we're gonna use a little bit more, cover it up about halfway. Lastly, we'll add our tomato sauce. Now we will add our bay leaves, the rosemary. Lastly, I use just a little bit of salt. Okay, once we're at a boiling point, it's very important to taste it. What we're looking for is make sure it's not very acidy, making sure it's not very salty. Now, what we're gonna do, we'll reduce the heat and take the aluminum foil and cover it up. You wanna make sure that you can keep all the vapors in there. You want all that liquid to just evaporate. This cooking technique is called braising. So here in our kitchen, we have a wood burning oven, which is gonna be very different if you were at home. At home, you can make sure you have preheated your oven to about 325 degrees. This is a very long process, so it's going to be approximately 2.5 to 3 hours at a very low temperature. We're going to serve this dish with a little bit of pasta, and then we just use a little bit of scallions to give it a little bit of color, and there you have your ossobuco. The cut of the ossobuco in itself, it's a very interesting cut. Usually, you'll use the veal, which is a very tender animal, and it's a very young animal, where the bone marrow has yet not reached its calcification. So the ossobuco, in the proper veal ossobuco, you will eat the bone marrow and leave behind the hollow bone. That's what ossobuco actually means, is hollow bone. If you want to learn how to cook, go give yourself up at a restaurant. Tell them you want to learn how to cook. Spend time in an industrial kitchen. English is a very important factor to know in our profession, because I think it's become the international language that everybody speaks. English has become extremely important to look up recipes, to do a lot of research, to be able to communicate with colleagues in different parts of the world.
Our last guest is a food and beverages consultant. He's an expert in the creation, planning, and administration of exotic and exclusive bars and restaurants, leading with success one of the most renowned bars and restaurants in Cartagena and Bogotá. Roberto Carrascal is a professional mixologist, which means he's a skilled person in mixing liquors and fruits to produce exotic cocktails. Let's see what he has prepared for us.
Hello guys, welcome to my bar. Today we're making a non-alcoholic summer drink and with a Colombian touch. So we're gonna make a lulo mojito. We're using lemon, peppermint, of course lulo, and some water. After you've done this, you're gonna divide the lulo in 2 pieces. One of them will be used to muddle into the Boston glass. So let's add a couple of pieces of lemon and the lulo on the base. Let's add some castor sugar. 2 small spoons will be enough. After this, we're gonna muddle the drink. Now it's the turn for the peppermint. We're gonna take a few leaves, and again, we're gonna muddle. Now it's gonna get the proper mojito flavor with all this peppermint mix up. Very important to this mix that we're making on the Boston glass is to add some ice cubes. Let's add some water. Not very much, because the ice is gonna melt anyway. And finally, we're going to shake. We break the Boston and shaker in the middle. We put everything into the highball glass. Now, for decoration, always use one of the main ingredients. In this case, you can decorate with a lemon slice, or you can use a peppermint leaves this way, or you can combine using the lulo.
Well, that's all for today. We have reached the end of our show, and we hope that you will continue to join us on this journey through the English language in each one of its different subjects. See you next time, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Acabas de ver Bilingüismo Inglés. Capítulo 1.